So yeah, instead of just like showing you maybe some slides, the idea of this webinar today is also to show you a real use case of migration and what could be a migration using Kurmi. As Eric said, migration is actually a journey, and that's not something that will happen from one day to the other. That's actually something that will happen maybe over days, weeks, months, depending on the size of your company and depending on the strategy you want to adopt. And during that period, you will have to maintain multiple environments. And that's exactly what I want to illustrate with that demonstration. What you can see here on this screen is an administration portal of a Kurmi administrator. And this Kurmi administrator has actually multiple environments to maintain. Cisco on-prem, Webex calling, but also Microsoft here. And what you can see here from my dashboard is that I can have one single pane of glass to see all the different environments and to here have a global overview of where my users are, what are the licenses I'm consuming on each of these application or cloud services. And I can also control the pace of my migration. Oh, I can do that. I can do that here using what we call the packaging configuration, or here the end user profile. On this platform, I created a couple of end user profile for either on-prem users or cloud services with, for example, Webex and Microsoft. And I selected what are the services I want to activate for each of these end user profile. And using that, it's easy for me to say that I want to move from on-prem to cloud just by selecting here the new profile I want to go to. And I will do this demonstration with two examples of users I have already created on-prem on a CCM, and I want to move them to the cloud, either Cisco Webex Cloud Services with multi-tenant or Microsoft Cloud Services with Microsoft Teams and configuration in Azure of the license. So how can I do that? The idea of Kurmi is that, as we said, you can be integrated with your IT system to just like import information from different sources, including directory, or you can directly read from the legacy system the users already provisioned. And that's the case here. I have a list of users already provisioned, and you can see here that most of them are still on-premise users. If I want to be more specific, and if I want to perform migration of, for example, of a full site, I can create some filter, or I can here like filter user from a given location. And I will see here only users from, for example, the Arlington location I have here. And I can select the user I want to migrate. Like, for example, I will start with this user, Carl. Okay. This is a user here with an on-premise configuration configured on a CCM with a telephony profile, line, and Jabber. And what I want to do and what I want to achieve now is to move him to the cloud. Okay. And this is the ticket I have to do today. And as an administrator, the only thing I will have to do is not to go on this UCM interface to do all the deprovisioning, then to go on the Webex control portal to do the provisioning. The only thing I will have to do will be to go to my Kurmi, select the new end user profile I want for him. Like I want to move him to Webex calling, for example. Select here a different number or keep the same numbers depending on what you want to do and what you want to achieve in terms of configuration. Pick the right license, pick the other services you need, okay, based on this profile. And when you will hit the apply button, Kurmi will take care of both deprovisioning the users on premise, but also here doing the provisioning in the cloud services, meaning that after this task, you will be sure that you will not have any remaining of configuration on-prem, and all the cloud services will be correctly activated for this given user. And as you can see on my screen, at the end of the modification, we can send an email to welcome him to his new services, meaning that now I know that Carl is now a Webex calling users, and I know that all his services are correctly set up, so he can place some call, he can log using his Webex Teams client, and he can receive an email with a procedure to how to log to your new Webex Teams client. And I did that just by selecting a new profile. Of course, as I said, you can do that with unitary operation, or you can do that in mass by selecting all users from a given site and plan the migration for the weekend and select here that you want to migrate users, all this list of users for the weekend. If you go back to the homepage, you will see now here that I have a new user on Webex calling, and this new user is actually my Carl users that just migrated from on-prem to cloud. And I can do the same for Microsoft. And that's actually one of the advantage of Kurmi, is that here you can control, you can search, you can see here all the list of users. And if you want to migrate them to Cisco, or if you want to migrate them to any other technology, like Microsoft, for example, it will be the same administration experience. And that's what we want to offer to your administrator, is a simple and easy to use way to just do your migration, do your day-to-day operation, and they don't have to be expert in any other new technology. We provide them an easy to use interface to do that. And here, for example, I'm moving this user to Teams. I can select the different thing I want. Like, for example, here I will use direct routing, and that's going to be the number I want to use. I will hit the apply button, and it will start the configuration of the user on Azure. It will assign the right license. It will also like provide push the number on Teams using PowerShell, and all of that will be done through one single form. You don't have to go again to UCM, then to Teams admin portal. All of that will be done here from Kurmi. On top of that, and that's the last thing I want to show you here before we're going back to this presentation, is that here from Kurmi, you can easily see what were the changes you perform with this user. So we have the change log, and we can see here the last modification. Okay, good news, it has been done by me here. I can see here the request of the change, and I can see here all the change really performed by here this migration, the deletion of the user from the on-premise, but also the configuration of the user in the cloud. And this has been done here with my single form, single modification of the end user profile. If you want to just undo this, we also offer to the administrator an easy way to just roll back. So let's say, for example, that we perform this migration and we encounter some issue. You can also roll back this migration, and you can revert and recreate all the services to Lola, for example, on-prem. And here it will be done just with one single click, one single here undo button. And when you will confirm that, you will be sure that it will recreate all services from Lola on-premise. So it will recreate here all the configuration for Lola on this UCM. So if I go back here, I can see now she's back with the UCM profile. She has the same line as before. She has the Jabber configuration as before. And all of that has been done here just using this rollback capability. So we can definitely here help you for your migration, help you for here the day-to-day operation. And during that transition, we will provide the single pane of glass for the daily management. You don't need to do any back and forth. All of the information will be available from one unique dashboard, and that's what we want to offer here.